Okay. It's now. Well, look at that clock. It's actually 3:32. March 18th, of this 2025 special meeting of the Board of Directors of Georgetown Public Utility District is now called to order. Can we have a roll call, please?
Director Thornborough,
Here.
Director McDonald,
Here.
Treasurer Stovall,
Present.
Vice President Saunders,
Present.
and President Seaman.
There. Director Stovall, would you lead us in my pledge of allegiance?
Gladly. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let me see. Is there any public comment on the adoption of the agenda? I see none. Are there any proposed changes, Nick, to the agenda?
At this time, no.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
Make a motion to adopt agenda. Second.
Motion of, Director McDonald, seconded by Director Thornborough. We will proceed with the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay. Please note the guidelines for the forum, public forum as they appear on the meeting agenda. As a reminder, under the Brown Act, the public must address all their public comments to the board, not to staff or other members of the public. Due to Brown Act limitations, the board is not able to discuss or take action on items not on the agenda. Public comment at special meetings of the legislative body is limited to the items listed on the agenda. The public forum is now open.
I think we can make the determination that we can take any public comments during the specific items because they can only be about these specific items.
Right, that's what I just said.
Sorry.
You okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I see no public, but, so. We will start through this. Action item 4A.
Yes, so we have a couple of legislative updates and developing district positions. There was a couple of letters that became available to sign on as to coalitions. And per the legislative liaison policy, we are bringing it here. The legislative liaison here is bringing it here to the board members with the staff as well to update these positions and to sign on to these letters. So I'll turn it over to Director Saunders so he can update the positions.
Director Saunders.
All right, the call to action that you have in front of you is for SB 496. It's a bill that will add an amendment to the Advanced Clean Fleets Regulation, and this one will give some protection and relief to communities for having to have the zero emission fuels in time. So this provides some leeways, and I have the 4 places that will help update. And we've been asked this is a co-sponsored bill by the California Special Districts Association, and they have requested a call to action to join their coalition. So the recommendation is to support this bill, join the CSDA coalition, and we'll send letters of support. And when it's letters of support, it's support for the district position. So I have that some places where it may be opposed, so that means we'd be sending a letter in opposition, but this one is to support. Any questions on this one?
That's my part. Are there any board members that have questions or comments at this time?
We talked about picking.
I'm just running with the rules. Director Stovall.
So this phase in for zero emission vehicles, even though they're heavy duty, is now 2045. Is that a change from before? Because I didn't realize heavy duty were even included.
So heavy duty is the only thing that's included.
Okay.
What they did was anything that's above 8,600 pounds ground vehicle weight is where these regulations lie. So that would be an F-250-ish, so 3/4 ton or above. What you're reading about the heavy duty is any tractor trailers. So like semi trucks, those are the ones that they gave an even longer extension to. What I understand, and maybe Director Saunders, you can correct me if I'm wrong, the technology isn't quite there yet. There is one manufacturer that has made some, it's Tesla, but there's not enough manufacturers to fulfill the need.
Okay,
Now what we are doing here, so you're aware, is we are able to apply for an exemption based on grid type and based on things that we have here locally. But this bill gives other reliefs to kind of extend the window is here. And actually, we're technically in the window right now. We can extend to 2027, but we're gonna be able to utilize this to extend even further.
okay, that answers my question.
Then,
Any more public or any more board comments, questions? Are there any public comments? Okay,
moving on to the next one, SB three
are we gonna
fifty.
do these separately or together?
Well, I'll go through each one and then we could do them all together. Well, however do you want to do? I guess we can do it since we're taking them separate. We can do
We're
it
doing them
separate.
separate, so that's
All
one
right.
public. So, can I have a motion to, sign on with this, special district, CSDA, joining with the coalition, sending them a letter?
And supporting.
And
SB
supporting.
496.
So moved.
I can't make a motion, it's your motion.
Oh, okay.
Here. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Pass. All right, next one.
SB 350, this is the voter rate assistance program, so we have two on watch. The first one, which we'll discuss next month, is for starts at less than 3,000 connections. This one is a statewide one. And this one has a lot of problems with it. So one is being statewide. One of the problems is funding. They want to make sure that there is funding for it before it goes in. They don't want agencies to have to pay for a third party that's going to be running this program. We also want to make sure that there allows for agencies that already have a low income rate assistance program like us to have credit for it. And if there is funding that we get it. They don't want the funding to go towards pilot programs because the problem is in order to fund a statewide program perpetually, annually, there isn't enough money and there is no collection for it. So they would have to make it short limited. And right now the proposal is to look at water districts that have been impacted historically with pollution or industrial what did they call it? Well, industrial pollution or industrial impacts, and that sounds like cities and not rural. So that won't, by the time it rolls into us, will be way in there. So that's one of the reasons it's opposed to amend it. Aqua is one of the people that is sent out letters in opposition to this until it's amended. So the request would be to oppose SB 350 unless amended and to join Aqua's coalition.
Any director questions, comments? Any public comments on this topic? Could I have a motion to change our position from watch to oppose and send a letter of support?
Oppose unless amended.
Yes.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay, and there's three more that added on that just came in. So AB 639, that is creates an exemption for dams. This one is the hearing date is 3/25/75, so that's why this one is here as well. There are three more bills whose hearing date is gonna be before our next board meeting. This came up with the emergency state ledge meeting yesterday with Aqua. And the exemption it does is if a barrier that does not impound water above the top of a levee where maximum storage behind the barrier has a minimum of 3 feet of freeboard on the levee and is aware as defined with either mechanical or manual removal flashboards or gates. Plus it gives some other exemptions if it's under, I believe it's 15,000 acre feet and depending on if it doesn't impound water directly.
So the big exemption that we're looking for in this one is they wanted to remove money from Prop 4, which is the new bond, water bond, to allow dam removals. And there's a lot of money that's available for removing of dams, and we think it's more appropriate as a water industry to put this money towards fixing dams that are needing work to be fixed. So we, as a coalition, are going in there to say, let's keep this money as fixing only and not removing dams. So we're removing the word removing from the proposed legislation.
That letter separately.
Sounds good.
Yeah, sounds better.
So did we get that information?
That's hot off the press today.
I just found out yesterday, this will get an emergency meeting yesterday afternoon from 2 to 3:30.
Okay, so we don't have that in our package.
No.
I did, just yesterday is all I had. I just sent this out this morning to
Okay.
to
Do
you
we have any
and,
more questions from directors?
Nope.
Mm,
Oh, the public has one.
no? Mr. Public,
Hi. Who in their right mind wants to remove dams? What's going on here?
plead the fifth on that one.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
we don't wanna get, well, no,
Joe and Jill, Sammy Salmon.
Doesn't make sense at all. We need more dams.
I agree.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
good comment.
Fortunately, it doesn't impact the American River. Yes.
don't.
Yes.
Okay, can we have a motion on how to address this one?
So the motion would be to support AB 639 and join any aqua coalitions.
So moved.
Wait a minute,
Second.
I'm confused.
The language is to remove the ability to remove the word, so we're supporting the removing of the word remove. I know it's confusing, it's backwards.
Oh,
So
so
he's
we're
supporting-
supported, not,
Yeah,
just
Supporting
take it out there.
remove.
it's supporting the remove the
Aye.
word remove. I know, I'm sorry.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next,
All right, Senate Bill 601. Now, this is a bill that kind of talks about construction over 1 acre must apply to the State Water Resource Control Board and NDPES for water permits. However, there is some language in there that changes this, the water code to say that primary drinking water standards should cover all nexus waters, which is waters of the state, and it does include groundwater, which would include like roadside ditches, canals. It includes a bunch of stuff. That language is in there. I don't even know if anyone actually saw that, but it actually increases what the water of the state would be considered for drinking water standards. That's also language that's in there as well.
Yeah, I think the
Well,
issue with this one is it's a slippery slope and
well, this is, that 1 acre is dealing with stormwater. That's just like a construction permit that you're
Yes.
pulling and not,
it
it's
is.
not dealing with drinking water, it's dealing with stormwater.
That's the first paragraph.
That-
As you go
That's the
further,
real words, right, as it states today.
right, and it's expanding on that.
Ooh, that's stupid.
Yes.
I'll read the analysis. As the bill would go far beyond simply returning to the status quo before the Sackett decision and would create an untenable regulatory and legal environment for water agencies and others. Though the issue is politically fraught, the bill poses unacceptable challenges for water suppliers, and it is unclear what amendments could address these concerns. So they're going for a full oppose. It's basically just a bad bill all around because of the language that they're using.
Yeah,
There's one language that says any water depression, so any hole that was dug or excavated and then filled with water. So that would be artificial ponds, swimming pools. You put little pulling their reflecting pool, the fountain pool, all of that would be considered.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
Center of the
It
state.
sounds to me like, you know, I got more than an acre, and I got a pond, and they want my water.
All right, that's fine.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So, yeah,
Is this a strategy to shoot down the bill?
yes,
Yeah,
to kill it,
opposed, yeah.
Okay, so that's,
full opposed, kill the bill.
all right, thank you. That sounds
Any,
crazy, but you look at it that way, it's, yeah. Okay,
any other comments?
Sorry.
Does that include frog ponds too?
Yes, it does.
I'll leave that. Do I have a motion to, on the 601?
Oppose, and,
Motion to oppose.
motion to oppose and join any coalitions.
Do I have a second?
yeah, I'll second on that.
All, all, in favor?
Aye.
It went south. All right,
Aye.
aye. Any opposed? No. Next,
And this is SB 682. This is one of two PFAS bills. This one is that will limit the sale of PFAS and PFAS products in California. And there's the same timelines like 2027, 2033, 2040. And this will just help by limiting the amount of PFAS that can end up in the environment. So the recommendation is in favor. And if you have anything to add on this thing.
No, I think you captured that one pretty good. It's just to kind of limit the future use of these forever chemicals. These are the ones that we're all like 0.5% PFAS if you look at our bodies, so we just don't want this in the system anymore. And if you've heard kind of discussions in the past, they're looking to attack anybody who they can make liable. So because this is brought into our bodies through water, they've looked at water agencies as culpable. And this is kind of the first of one of two bills to make that less liability on their water districts.
I saw a thing on, public television about a dairy farm back east that took sludge from the local sewer plant that had commercial dumpage in it that had PFAS, and then they couldn't sell their milk at all.
Yep, that's a real.
What is the district's procedure on getting rid of the sludge that we have?
We take it to a dump,
Okay, so
It can go to
it's-
landfill.
landfill, yeah.
It's not going anywhere that can be infected. So there's no liability about that. That's my concern.
We also haven't tested positive for PFAS at all, so we're lucky in that respect.
Yeah.
We live at the top of the straw, which is amazing for us and our community. And we continue to test, and if we ever popped or let anybody, if it ever came up, then we would have to address that concern.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you.
and those items came up way back, like in the early 90s when the fire department was using foam. That's where was one of the biggest complaints. Was because they were foaming and it goes down the storm drain and into the creek, which goes into the waterway and out into whatever else. But how do you stop that as a regulator? Because you're gonna tell them they can't fight fire with their equipment. So that's way back when how it all started getting brought to attention. Okay, do I have a public comment on this? Could I have a motion to oppose?
Favor.
No, favor
Favor.
682.
Oh, sorry.
SB 682.
I move we
Support.
support, maybe 642.
SB 682.
That's SB 682.
second.
682. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
All right, and that's it. The rest don't have any set hearings, so they'll be brought at our regular meeting.
Okay, okay. So now we're up to, I believe, action item 4B.
Correct. So, we received word, at the end of last week that, appropriation dates have been set and the timelines are quite fast. I think it was the 14th, we received notice, from Senator Schiff's office. And the deadline for submitting any kind of appropriation work is the 28th. So I'm seeking direction on a project moving forward. I have laid out a few projects in the staff report, and I would like to just go through those quickly and kind of pros and cons of this process and utilizing them. I think at the last meeting, Director Saunders stated during his visit to Washington, that all the 2024 appropriations were kind of dead on arrival. I mean, I did hear from our federal lobbyists that they're not quite dead yet, but they're, they're being stepped on and not likely to move forward. However, there's still a chance that they could move forward, but slim. So one of the projects that we submitted in 2024 was the hydroelectric project. It was received well by Senator LaFonza Butler and was originally approved for $7 million. So one of the things we could do is reapply for this hydroelectric grant project. I was told by federal advocates $1 to $4 million is probably a good starting point. So I'm really sorry, there is this project, and we can also utilize other grant appropriation revenue that we've received, i.e. WRDA, to fulfill the balance of this project. In all likelihood, the $7 million was more than we needed anyway. In kind of first engineers estimates was about 5.5 million. So we may not need the full 7, so we could go back and ask for like 4 million and try to fulfill this project. The second project, the major project, would be dredging of Walton. This is probably the best project to put forward for this, except getting these appropriation monies is slow. And we may not see any of this money. Obviously, we're still waiting on our 2023 appropriation money. So that's 2 years ago. So I would say that the project is, we want to pick something that we do not have an emergency to fulfill. And I think the dredging of Walton is a higher priority than we can place on this appropriation process. The next one is treated water line replacements. So we've kind of identified several areas throughout the district that could use upgrades to treated water lines as they get lots of breaks. There's kind of lots of movement with them, and we want fire and also increasing them for fire flow. So we could package some of these treated water line replacements, which the reason I included the CIP budget is we included them in the CIP budget so you could see like how much we anticipate spending over the next few years on these projects. And that would be something we could potentially package with another project that's going to be talked about at the next one. So you all remember in December when we had a big break and we had to call in a special contractor to fix a siphon that went from Greenwood Reservoir to Sweetwater Trail Reservoir. We are proposing to put a liner in that siphon to limit, if it cracks again, any other leaks. So basically what this liner is some of you may have been familiar with it. They use it in sewer lines. They basically put a liner and force it into the pipe, and it conforms to the outside diameter of the pipe, the inside diameter of the pipe, and then it hardens. And so basically it creates a pipe inside a pipe. And this creates, the old pipe is still there for structural support, but the new pipe inside is what actually carries the water. We have had some preliminary estimates of about $500,000 to $600,000 to do this for that particular siphon. So again, those two projects, we could package them together as water efficiency. Those are always great because they reduce leaks, they reduce pumping costs. Did you have a question now, or do you want to wait for go through the list?
Well, it's a quick question. How long is it?
Adam?
It's under 500 feet.
Wow.
Yeah, so basically what it came down to is the access points we can actually get to do it, right? Is where that is. We have one side access where it broke, and then it crosses the road, and then it goes up the hill to the other side. So we can access on the very top, go straight shot across down the hill out of the road to the other side.
So it's like $1,000 a foot.
Once you break the project out, yeah, it's about that. I mean, the actual material cost is a little bit less, but once you do your environmental, your construction permitting, your temporary easements, your,
Okay,
there's one other item I was trying to think of. Water control plan, you get through that pretty, so it adds up overall.
and if I recall, the cost for that break was close, it was
72,000 plus. Yeah, it was 72,000.
I think when you go back to that, I think we were fortunate where it broke. If it was on the road, it would have been a whole different, it would, a whole different story.
So I think that we're trying to mitigate a future issue with this project. Do you mind if I move on, or you wanna keep it? Yeah. So the next one would be, in the zone, so station 16, this is the upgrades that we've all kind of talked about, is the reducing of the spills. So estimates of this project is about $1 million. This is definitely something that we could utilize. It's probably not as cool of a project.
But how much would have been our fines?
We haven't been fined.
That's coming.
Where's zone 16?
That's the ALT pump that goes, that lifts the sewer water.
So it is a cool project.
It would be a cool project. Well, the word I was gonna say was sexy, cause like when you talk to like the congressman, they're gonna be like, oh, we're putting in a lift station, that's not, nobody wants to talk about your poop. I'm sorry.
I thought we were already doing work, a lot of work on Station 16, because I remember seeing a lot of invoices and signing a lot of checks that had to do with Station 16.
Yeah, so we did some, there was a cap about this big that got stuck in the line that was causing some of the leaks. But we still have, when we have big rainstorms, we still have some leaks, and we did get a spill in end of February. So we did get a notice of violation that there was a spill.
I think the cost too is the generator repair, that might be.
That was a-
Oh, yes, there was a
Yes.
generator repair as well. I forgot about that.
So that, what's involved in the upgrade? I mean, what are we
Putting
doing?
another pump in, and it'd be another pump that would be able to take more water.
An additional one?
And
Yeah.
storage
So you
too.
have a backup.
Put a big tank in that would
Remember, there's
hold,
only one.
so there would be no more spills, basically.
Oh, I remember that thing.
So one would kick in, well, if the other one, or if the other one broke, you still had one.
And if you need both, they could both run at the same time. So the next one is AMI upgrades. Again, this could be packaged as a water efficiency project, so we need less than $250,000. We could put this one, the treated water line replacements and the Ford siphon. Sorry, we're calling that it's the Ford siphon, the Greenwood to Sweetwater Lake. I know I didn't put it in there. But we could probably package all three of those together and maybe get those three projects knocked out. And then the last one is, again, not a really like sexy project, but distribution tank coating. So this is a cost, and this is one I have to, I'm not sure if this is even appropriate to put in for this. I would have to talk to our federal advocate, because this is more of a maintenance issue than it's more of an operations and maintenance issue than it is new work. So we can talk about like treated the water line replacement as new work because we're doing infrastructure improvements and we're making it bigger and better. But distribution tank coating is just kind of taking what we have and fixing what is there already.
Donald?
As far as how much resources would be available to us, is it based on the type of project? Is it, you're talking about packaging will be nice and tidy and we could wrap them up, or is it prioritized by what type of project it is for the amount we're gonna get? Or we could get?
I would say some of the projects can be packaged, some of them cannot. The priority projects are probably the siphon we just discussed, the dredging, the treated water line replacements, and the AMI stuff. The hydro is the perfect project for this because it's something that we don't need the money right away, which is kind of why it was nice to have it in 2024. So I would, if you wanted my staff recommendation, I would say to continue with the hydro projects, because that's going to eventually bring revenue to the district. If that is not the first choice of the district, my second choice would be to package the treated water line replacements, the siphon, and the AMI upgrades as water efficiency projects throughout the district. And my third priority would be to do the zone 16. And the only reason I picked that as my third priority, I know it's a big priority, but it's the cheapest of all of these. And we can get more funding to do the other projects is my goal. The dredging, while I think it's an awesome project for this, I don't know if we can wait for the process to play out.
Dr. Thornborough?
Look, at the last meeting, you said that the Army Corps of Engineer grant money, which was quite a bit, to coverage.
20 million, 20.5 million.
That I'd recommended doing something, I forget what with that, and you said, oh, that was just water related, was all you could.
I don't think we do the zone project with that one, because it's water supply related, so I don't think the zone project would ever fit in that.
But what I'm saying is that the dredging of Walton would be perfect for that. Because what is more important when your pond, I forget what you call it,
Reservoir.
yeah. When your pond has lost, probably close to half its capacity with all of that. And I mean, if we had like during the fire where the ditch was blocked, all right, if it would have been a more serious block, the way things were going with fire hydrants and everything else, that plant would have ran out of water.
Yes.
So I think that dredging thing needs to be a big time priority. I don't see any reason why the Army Corps of Engineers ones grant wouldn't cover that. As well as, the distribution tanks, those are important as well. So I mean, if you get those two and put them in there, then you could do what you were suggesting with these other ones.
So distribution tanks, that's gonna be the hardest one to find a grant for. They just don't fit. They're kind of like putting a round peg in a square hole. They
For the
don't,
Army Corps of Engineer grant, won't do
I
it?
don't believe that would constitute a work that they would be willing to do, because it's, when you do grant work, they
It's kind of
want,
like maintenance.
yeah, it is, it's kind of the,
But I think we need to get that whole 5.6 million funded. I mean,
so we have another grant out for the dredging.
Yeah.
We did apply for a DWR grant as well, so. And I'm not trying to count my stars here, but I'm hoping that we were able to, we have $3.7 million from DWR. 1.5 from FEMA, and then the balance of the district would be $1 million, which would be awesome if we could do that for the Army Corps, which is realistic, it really is. But we already have $1.5 million, I would say FEMA's more or less approved it.
It's just time.
so I don't think, if it comes out, if we have to take $1 million out of capital improvement, CIP, CIP can't handle that big. We need to, because there's a lot of things that CIP covers. And I don't think that we need to be taking $1 million at a time out of CIP for projects that are, that aren't as necessary as some of the other things for the CIP.
Can I clarify and maybe say what I said, just so maybe we're on the same page? I think taking the $1 million and applying the $1 million toward the WRDA.
The what?
The WRDA, the $20 million.
Okay.
That would be my recommendation, is to apply that, because that's already a WRDA wants a shovel ready project. And that's, we
Okay.
already have all the engineering.
Oh, so that really we wouldn't be paying for.
If I had my way, no, we would apply for the WRDA to get $1 million from WRDA. And then we could still use the rest of that money to do other water supply projects in the
Okay.
future.
Well, I'm not in favor of taking anything that's gonna take $1 million out of CIP.
I understand.
Yeah.
Dr. Saunders?
Yeah, so I'm in favor of when we move forward to look at projects that are in the CIP that are part of Prop 218. So this way, any grants that we get is gonna help reduce the need to increase the rates.
So that would be the packaging of the 3 projects with, and the dredging is also in there as well.
Yeah, so.
Dr. McDonald?
Thank you. Not knowing how much we're gonna get, should we be prioritizing these 3 projects? As far as, which one's the most important, not knowing if we're gonna get $1 or $4 million?
Yes, and I think The siphon is probably the most important in there. The treated water line replacements are the second most important, and then the AMI upgrades would be kind of the hanger.
Siphon number one.
Yeah, so fix the siphon, and then treated water line replacements. Cause those are already efficiency issues that we've noticed throughout the district.
And number three,
And
and then the.
Oh, AMI.
Number three, and then number four was zone 16.
Well, so those three I would put together as one.
You
All
have
those were
two on
four.
the other page.
Yeah, so treated water line replacements, fix the siphons and AMI would be one project I would recommend us apply for.
Oh.
Hydro would be one project, dredging would be one project,
Station.
and station 16 would be one project. Yeah,
I want that station.
I know,
16 fixed.
we have other options for that
We
with
have-
Prop
We have a
4.
way to get the station, I think. So,
What, what?
I think that's one that we can get the Prop 4 money, and that's one that's probably perfect for that, and that's probably gonna fit our district.
Well,
Better.
and if we do, oh, sorry, go ahead.
And by doing like that, which I'm fine with that. But there's not gonna be any share.
No, these are full funded.
Okay, all right, I'm okay with that.
And then the other part that you guys are all done. I think, that station. I'm still on this, going through and seeing if we can reduce some of that water, that inflow that comes into Station 16 during the high rains. And showing that we have a proactive, program in place that we're going through Overland Lake Trails to make sure that water gets reduced hitting that station. And that may alleviate part of the problem of a spill every year, because we're basically having at least one.
So, can I just address that? I think we did find a lot of infiltration
Right.
during the last season, and I think it reduced quite a bit how much the spill was this year. And that's just kind of anecdotal. I'm not,
No, and I understand that, and then, so as long as you've caught some of them, but to keep that, because what I've learned over, educating the public is you hit them once with some information and then you try to educate them again with the information. Then you get the community to start educating, to realize that if there's a spill, that that would trigger fines, and the fines then go back to Overland Lake Trails. Congratulations, because we need to get this problem taken care of. Any other director questions?
and my other thought on station 16 is we can maximize our appropriation costs. We're getting a grant for about $1 million is easier through the Prop 4 because we could be one of the smaller projects that come in. I mean, these Prop 4 grants for wastewater is gonna come in 100 million, 200 million, and people are like, whoa, 200 million, what are we gonna do with that? And we come in and say, hey, we just need to fix our little system for $1 million, and they're like, oh yeah, that we're much more likely to get funding on that.
And that's what
basis.
I'm saying, also to add in that is that we are putting a program together to try to reduce that inflow
Oh, that's,
and infiltration, so it makes it look like we are being proactive to try to
Absolutely.
protect that thing, rather than just say, oh, we want money to fix it.
that's absolutely
That
part
makes
of our
us
grant
look
application.
better.
Yeah, we'll put all that in when we do it, how we do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all part of our application, absolutely.
Director Stovall.
I really respect what the director, what you said about the need for water for fire protection coming out of Walton, and I think that's a very good spin to put into the need for the grant.
Yeah.
And I would suggest putting that same need into the package deal, the siphon, treated water, and the AMI, because those are,
Oh, yes.
that's a real hot issue right now. If we can put that in there, we need that in, the urban fire, what do you call it? Urban
Water
fire
Management Plan.
management plan, yeah.
Yeah, so our, when we got the tank money, it was, what was our catchy title? The fire supply water tank, it was water resiliency fire, we threw all the buzzwords in there, so we'll definitely,
Good.
make sure it sells well.
Director Thornwell.
Okay, so just so I understand, you have 4 items going into this,
No,
Yeah,
three items.
Going into one.
Treated water line replacement,
yeah?
the siphon,
Yeah.
and the AMI upgrades, and I would package it as fire resiliency and water
Oh,
efficiency.
so you're not including the zone 16.
I don't think it's close enough of a nexus, I think it's too far away.
All right. Okay.
We can, so what we can do is we can apply for it, multiple projects and see what what hits. So that's definitely something that can be done. So we can do the package of the treated projects. And we can do the one zone project as a separate application. Nothing, that doesn't hurt to ask for more than one.
Well, I think, given that new information, I think that the Station 16 would be more important than the treated water line replacements.
Touch on Prop 4.
Yeah, the only reason I wouldn't recommend doing that is, remember, the zone is, you wanna try and get an appropriation that's gonna cover the whole district. So getting the Prop 4 money from the zone, where we definitely have a bucket coming to us for wastewater, that's probably a clearer path than
Oh,
to
okay. All right,
risk an appropriation that we lose out on.
okay,
Getting
so,
something
but,
for more.
so there's a priority on that Station 16.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, yeah, I'll pop with that.
Any other director comments? Sheree, public. There you are.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so these are different projects than what's on the grant list? Or are they similar projects?
These are projects that are on the CIP and proposed projects from staff before it has been approved by the board on an updated 2025-2026 CIP.
Okay, so that $20 million is set though for that's not affected by the reversal of the appropriations?
It is not.
In the, it says that 2023 and 2024 appropriations were reversed,
2024 only.
weren't approved. Okay, so those, is that the bill that just passed?
Ish.
Sort of, it's a little bit, there's a little bit of nuance to what your question is, but yes and no. The 2023 appropriation that we received for the water tank in Sweetwater is approved, and we still have that one. The 2024 appropriation that we received from Senator Butler is likely gonna die on the vine. It's not likely not gonna come to us.
Okay. Okay, and why did we get such short notice of this deadline? Didn't the federal lobbyist, why wasn't he on the ball letting you know about this March 28th deadline instead of the senator?
The senator,
Shouldn't he?
the senator sent it out on March 14th, and I got an email from him about 3 minutes later.
From the lobby.
So
From the
it was
lobbyist.
just new deadlines that were set?
Yeah, this is it is kind of the nature of the beast with appropriations. They come fast.
If they can.
Okay, so, all right, well, that's why I wondered why we had a special meeting. I'm assuming that's why.
Yeah,
Okay,
we went,
that's it.
exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Anything else?
Okay.
Thank you, public. Director
Yes.
Saunders?
Just to help clarify on that, so the 2024 appropriations are still in the budget, as we said, but it depends on what passes. So the continuing resolutions are what allows the budget process to continue. When they actually sit and approve the next budget, that's gonna decide what stays in or out. So we see the whole way they're going is to try and limit spending, so a lot of the appropriations may go. The reason that was the last meetings held was the meetings where they were gonna decide if they were gonna do appropriations or not. So I guess they decided that they were gonna do appropriations. That was probably last week when that was decided, because it was possible there were gonna be none for this year. So that's why that came so late as well.
Yeah, and we did hear Senator Padilla's office is, the deadline is the 31st. So again, before our next board meeting, we have not heard about Congressman Kiley's deadline yet. But I imagine once he puts out his information, it will be quickly. It will be just quick, 2 weeks or so. And then we'll apply whatever project we decide. It'll go to all three Congress people, because that way you have the best bet. The way that this works the best is that you get a senator to pick it up and you get a representative to pick it up, and it's on a dual track, so they kind of meet in the middle when they go to both houses. And so that's how you want to do this the best way.
Are we done with comments? Okay, can we have a motion to direct staff?
I agree, we go with, the staff recommendation to send in the package, which would include the treated water line replacements, siphon and AMI upgrades as the package to go towards, appropriation.
A second. Go. Either way. Corey?
Stereo, second.
Are you guys done?
Fight about it.
No.
I know.
First go debating it.
All in favor?
Uh,
Any opposed? Ding. Okay, I think we're up to, I'm assuming, next meeting and agenda, next meeting and adjournment. So the next regular meeting will be April 3rd, 2 p.m. district office. Is there any more public comment? Okay. Then at this time, I would seek a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Make the motion to adjourn.
Second.
Aye.
Any opposed? Done. Meeting adjourned at, God, I hate that.